Hey, it's Tank Thompson here with a review and first impressions on episode 1 of Akame got killed. I've been excited for this anime ever since I saw the first preview for it, which looked completely amazing. And after seeing this first episode, I can gladly say I am not disappointed. Let's get right into it. So at the beginning of the episode, we see our main character Tatsumi defeat an Earth Dragon for some passing by what looks like merchants. He says that he's on his way to the Imperial City, so stuff like this is nothing for him since he's strong. He's been doing it on his whole journey. And the merchants tell him that the Imperial City is where the real monsters are, which gets me curious. After Tatsumi gets in the city, he goes into this building where to sign up for a position in the Imperial Army Forces or whatever. He wants a commanding officer position, but they wanted to start. They were going to start him off much lower down the ranking line, but he didn't like that. He's like, "Come on, man." He's like, "Where do I show my skill?" He pulls out a sword and strikes something and breaks it, and then they kick him out. He comes across this girl with blonde hair. He gives a pretty funny nickname too. He tells her his story about how he came to the Imperial Army to become a commanding officer, and she says that you need two things. She said she's going to tell him the two things if he buys her lunch. And when they get to this restaurant, this looks like kind of like a pub restaurant-ish. That lady, she tells them that you need two things in order to be successful in this city: connections and money. She said that she has connections. All she needs is money. So Tatsumi takes out this big sack of money that he got from rewards from killing a bunch of monsters on the way here. She takes the money with him. She's like, "Alright, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go hook you up. I'll be right back." He's sitting there, he's waiting for hours. He's just like, waiting for hours and hours on end until it's like nighttime, it's closing time. Then a bartender, it looks like a bartender, comes up like, "Come on, man, it's closing time." He's like, "Oh, I'm waiting for somebody." He's like, "Sorry to tell you, but you got swindled." He's like, "I'm going to call the police. Like, I'm going to call the authorities." He's like, "Oh, the authorities don't deal with that. It's your fault. You got swindled." He walks out the bar. He's all depressed and stuff. He's like, "Man, he ain't got no money left." He's like, "Man," he's mad at the girl who got swindled, but he didn't go find her. He just accepts it. He's like, "Alright." And he says, "Alright, looks like I'm sleeping outside today." Which is strange because he just accepts it. I would at least go, try to search for the person who stole my money. She couldn't have gotten that far out of the city yet. She's probably out there spending the money. And so, he's now skeptical of everything. This girl in a carriage. She looks she looks rich because she's riding a carriage. She has guards and stuff. She stops like, "Oh, there's a person on the street. I gotta pick him up." And the guard's like, "Oh, not again." She's like, "Oh, it's my nature. Keep that in mind." She says, "That's my nature." She goes up to him. She's like, "Hey, would you like to stay at my house for a day?" Stay at my house tonight. Sorry. And there's this whole hilarious kind of thing. This is the kind of comedy that I love the most. He's like, has this simple face. It's like, and to the side, now skeptical of everything. Which he should be. He really should have been. And so, after, a bit of, back and forth between him and the little girl. She's not that little. But, he accepts and goes to her house. He meets her parents. Her mother and his father. And they're a rich family. They have a big mansion. He says, he asks them where he came from. And then Tatsumi finally says his complete story. He left his village. Because his village is very poor. He left it with two other friends to go to Imperial City in order to make a lot of money and help out their village. He left with his two friends, Sayo and Ietsu. He called himself Ietsu-sama, which I thought was really funny. And they look like some really nice characters. I was really interested in. Like, will I see them later in the series? I hope so. I did. Anyway, he's like, "Alright, I'll help you, I'll put out some notices for you, help you search for them, help you find them," because they got split up after they were attacked by some bandits. They got split up. And he says he's also going to hook them up with a commanding officer position. Seems all nice and stuff. And the next day they go into the city. He goes into the city with the little girl to go shopping and stuff. While the guard, he's talking to him about the night raid. He brings up the night raid, which is, our other set of main characters that I will talk about later. And he points to their wanted posters. He tells them they can't talk about it during the day. And he nods them over to the wanted posters. And we see their wanted posters, Akame and 2 other people. I think it was. I don't know who the other 2 people were because I was focused on Akame. Anyway, they get back to the house. He's sitting in his room, and that night, ooh, a lot went down that night. I mean, this whole episode had been on an emotional roller coaster kind of thing. Like different kind of, you get different kind of feelings. But this last segment of the episode really got me. You see their mom walking. She's like, "All right, I'm gonna write something in my diary tonight." I'm like, "Oh man, she's gonna write something in her diary." Like, we had this new guest, Tatsumi. He's really nice. He helped out our daughter shopping. When she gets cut in half with some scissors by someone I don't even know, from the night raid, probably. What I was thinking. And he's like, he hears some stuff. He goes out. He sees the night raid standing in the sky. I don't know how they're doing. They're standing in the sky. He's like, the night raid, and they come in. They start attacking the guard and stuff. He's like, okay, I gotta go help that little girl. So he runs in. They go help the little girl. When you see her father being crushed by I'm gonna call her the swindle girl, the girl who swindled him earlier. She's being crushed by the swindle girl because I don't want to say her nickname. He's being choked by. He's being choked. Her father's being choked by the swindle girl. And he's like, please help me. I have a daughter." She's like, "Daughter, I don't care." He's like, "Have you no mercy?" She's like, "What is mercy?" And she crushes his throat. We cut back to Tatsumi. He just now gets the guard helping her and the little girl. They're trying to get in the storage house so they can hide out. When Akame, our other main character, what the show is named after, shows up, kills the other guard, and it's about to kill the little girl. But Tatsumi jumps in the way. She's like, not a target. Jumps over him, and it continues after the little girl. And then he stops her. This whole fight looks beautiful in the animation. The animation looks beautiful throughout this whole fight. She's like, "You're not a target, so why are you doing this?" And it's just this whole speech thing. They fight. She's like, "If you're not if you don't stop interfering, I will kill you too." He's like, "I'm not gonna stop." So she stabs him, but he gets saved. Well, he doesn't get saved actually. Well, kind of he gets saved. This little totem pole kind of thing he got from his village elder back when he left to keep him safe. It actually protected him and stopped her sword from piercing his chest. And they get into it some more. And she's about to slice his neck again. She's about to kill him again. And when the swindle girl stops him, because she recognizes him, like, how unlucky can one guy be? I mean, really, how unlucky can you be to have all this happen to you? And you get swindled, and then this next thing happens. I'm about to talk about. He says this whole thing about how you can't go around killing innocent people. And he to give him his explanation about why he's here. He's like, "Oh, all right." She tells Akame that she stopped her because she owes him a favor. I guess he didn't want to feel too bad about swindling him. If you stole someone's money and you encounter him again, I think you'd be kind of sorry. She's like, "All right, they're innocent," and she busts open the storage house doors, and all you see is a bunch of dead bodies. And she says that how this family has been taking people in, like luring them in and then torturing them, killing them and stuff, and doing all this stuff. All this terrible stuff. This is a terrible, rotten family. Before I found out about this, I completely hated the night raid. I was like, I hate them. I hate these main characters. Why is this show about a bunch of people I'm gonna hate? But anyway, after I found this out, I'm just like, they're actually doing good. But what really got me is when he walked up to see his dead girl hanging by this thing, all scratched up and stuff, like cuts and stuff, and he's like, "Sayo," Sayo, is that you? And Sayo, his best friend, one of his best friends that he left his village with, was up there dead. And that little girl is trying to, she sees this and trying to sneak away. Swindle girl, Swindle line girl, she stops her. So, oh, you think you can get away? She's like, I've never seen this before. I don't know what you're talking about. Then Ietsu, his other best friend that he left with, is right off to the side in a cage with all these blots of skin, red spots of skin on him. He says, this girl killed Sayo. She tortured her to death. It was all this girl that did this to him, her, and everybody in that room. They didn't know who they just came, and he said that they told him the little girl brought Sayo and Ietsu over to our house, and after they got finished eating, they fell asleep right after they got finished eating, like it was like drugged or something, and woke up in there. That little girl, she turns really, really creepy. She's like, what's wrong with this? Like, what's wrong with doing that? They're just cattle coming from some backwater village. Why should they matter? And that little girl, that girl had such smooth hair. She's cattle, but she has such smooth hair. Well, I have to deal with my unruly hair. And she tortured her to death for having smoother hair than her. How crazy can you be to kill somebody for having smoother hair than you? So Tatsumi is just standing there in complete shock, kind of. He has his head down. And Akame gets freed. Swindle lion girl, because she's in lion form now. She releases Akame, and Akame is about to go kill that girl. And he's like, wait. And they're like, since Swindle girl's like, you're seriously not still trying to protect her. He's like, I'll kill her, and slices her right across the stomach. And I was like, after all I found out what she did to her, his two best friends, I was just like, yes. Finally. Man, I hated her as soon as I found out everything about that. I mean, before she seemed like a pretty nice girl, but she's crazy. I'm glad she got killed. I don't even care to bother to remember her name. I'm glad she got killed. And so they release, after she's dead, they release Ietsu. Ietsu, he's like, yes, I finally feel better after seeing, like, he's like, good job, Tatsumi, I finally feel better. And he just coughs up blood. They free him out the cage he was in, and he talks about how Sayo never gave up, never gave in to that little, and said that she always stayed herself while she was getting tortured and never gave in. I like that to find out that she was that kind of person. It would have been better if she was left alive, but she wasn't, unfortunately. And Ietsu died soon after, saying that he wanted to die a good death, hero-like death. He said Ietsu-sama again, that he wants to die a good hero death. Holds his hand up and, he dies, which is also really sad. Akame says that the mother of the house likes drugging her victims and stuff like that, and then likes to write it about it in her diary. And that made me think back to when she said she was going to write with her diary. Made me hate that mother much more, that lady much more. After finding out that she lets her daughter do this, and then finding out that she actually helps her daughter to do this kind of stuff. And I just completely hate this whole family. I wonder what the father did, actually. After that crazy set of events happened, they take Tatsumi back with him. Swindle girl takes Tatsumi back with him over her shoulder. Takes him up to their with the rest of them. They ask who he is, and says that he's now part of the night raid. They kind of accept him. This one guy with the mask has this, not deep voice as I expected. He looked like really strong, like he'd have a really deep voice like this. But he had like a kind of, like a chill kind of voice. He was like, it's alright, I'll take care of you. And the episode ends there, and ending plays. And I forgot to mention the opening. The opening was Skyreach. It was an amazing opening. Had a lot of good fight sequences too. So this is the end of my review for Akame Got Killed and First Impressions. This was an amazing episode. For my rating, I'm going to have to give it a 10 out of 10. This was an amazing first episode. Just like a few others we've had this season, but this was top of the notch. I like the animation a lot. I like the soundtrack. It was fluid. I love the art. I like the character designs. I like how this episode went from here to here. Like, it was already up on a mountain, but then it went to Mount Everest, and it was an amazing episode. But yeah, this is the end of my review. Thanks for watching. Leave a like down below if you enjoyed this review, and yeah, bye. Appreciate it.